Hello, this is the aftermarket report with Vegas and Jim. Today's date is March 5th, 2019, and we had a real good day today, and I'm going to hand this right over to Miss Vegas to give us the watch list.
Okay, well, good evening, everyone. And sorry we sent the video late last night. So hopefully today will help you and be ready for tomorrow. So we're going to talk about HUYA. We're going to talk about IOTS. I want to talk and follow up on our comments on Swing Idea on CHMA from yesterday. We're going to talk about ZKIN. Jim's going to give an update. I want to talk to you guys about mankind. And then last but not least, I definitely want to talk to you guys about an option idea with TXM because this is really to help people with small accounts. So please listen to the video so that I can give you why I'm interested in that particular option idea. So let's first get started with HUYA, which is HUYA Inc. Now this company is in the they're China company, and they do all kinds of things. They do video games. They have it's very very interesting website because you can actually broadcast from their website. Like if you go there, you can do a live broadcast. I wonder if it looks like kind of like a little YouTube kind of company. So this company here, HUYA, had very nice move today. And one of the things that we'd like to do is we certainly like to follow the when the stock's being accumulated and what's happening with the action on the actual stock. And last night we were looking at some ideas, and one of the ones that was mentioned to us by Tony, he said, keep a close eye on this stock HUYA. It's had some very good volume, but I think tomorrow is going to be the big day. And my gosh, I had it on my top watch for the morning, and this was an amazing day because this volume today, 21.9 million so far for the day, is actually, I think, one of the highest volumes I have ever seen in the whole year of this stock. And the stock did open this morning at 25.38, and then it pulled back to 25.11, but it actually went lower. I think it went to 24, but I didn't look at it closer until 25.11, and that's kind of when I alerted a trade for the day traders, and whoever participated in it, I was looking for a $30 target on this, and wow, it hit bullseye, $30. So that was nice. Some people exited way sooner, which is fine because you have to take profits. So definitely HUYA was a nice hue of a hit. And I'll just turn it over to Jim to talk about that chart because this was nonstop. Like, I mean, this thing just kept going and going and going and going. So, Jim, over to you, please, to talk about HUYA.
It was definitely a hell of a day.
Yeah.
Hula, well, I kind of have me a little support area here at 2482, but first thing I want to do is pull up a year's chart. We're just going to have a look at it here on the year's chart. So it did get down to a low last year during that sell-off in December, right down there to 1444, which is really a double bottom from the for the year. Had double bottom for the year, and then she kind of started bouncing up from that in January, February, and then to March. She really took off. She took off today like a rocket, and so it hit my little resistance level. I have we had a year high of this stock right around in this area up in here where I channeled it once before. That's right around 48, 46. So you're looking at kind of a pivot point area on this chart right now. We had a resistance level, which at one time was a support at 2482. And then she went ahead and broke that other resistance right here around 2911. And I probably got that trend line today, but it kind of lines up with this other stuff here. Then we have another resistance level here right around 3045. I'm going to mark that in there. I can probably go a little bit lower with it right there. And I'll draw me another resistance because I think this thing can still go up, but we're going to try to find some supports on it too for a little pullback. I'm going to draw another trend line right there. Then I have a resistance level right here that we tried to break a couple days ago, and that was right around 26.30, right in there. So let's bring it up to a 20-day, see if I can get a better look at it. This is how I start designing my supports and resistances. I see a support right there, right around the 27.38 area. Definitely in this channel here, you can see that channel, how that's running that last week and a half. It had a real good gain, bounced off that 1883 on the 20-day chart. And this is an hour setting, 20-day 1 hour. Got a support level right here, right around 2160. I don't think we'll see that, but then we're getting up here in the meat of things, 2372. And we could probably dig one out of here somewhere. Let's go up to 28. And then maybe another one right here, right around 2886. I'm going to put another trend line right here at 2970. Now I'm going to pull it up to a daily 1 minute. I'm going to take a look at it, see if I missed anything. Kind of see a little support area right in here, right around 2596. And I'm kind of seeing one right in here for consisting around 2687. Okay, so this is how I'm going to look at this stock. I'm going to go back from the previous market high that we had here pre-market and after hours, which was 2738. I'm going to draw me a little red trend line there. I'm going to call that low support. So you got your low support right here at 2738. Then I'm going to draw another trend line right here, right around 2838, because I think that could be I think we could see that. So these are the three supports that I'm looking at. I'm looking at a little support channel right here between 2886 and 2911. I'm going to draw that in blue so I can remember it tomorrow. Put it right here. I like teaching people how I draw these trend lines so you get that benefit of the doubt right there. And then we have a low support. Second support on this stock is going to be right in this area. So we're going to call the 2838 second support. I'm going to turn that into a red line. And then if that don't hold, we're going to come back down here to 2738. Now you do see a dip right in here. So I'm just going to draw a trend line right in here. But I like to see it hold in this area right in here, this 28 to 2838 for the second support. And I'm going to draw me a little blue channel right in there. Bam. So there we go. Then I'm going to change this up here. Draw one more trend line for a bottom, for a support right there. Okay, this is how I'm going to call it out. We got our low support at 2738. We have a little channel here for your second support, which is going to be within 28 to 2838. Then we're going to have the first support between 2886 and 2911. I can see it pulling back to the 2911 for sure, but right now we're holding up an ascending triangle off of a pennant flag, kind of like. So it's kind of ascending up with a flat top, and that resistance level that we need to break here after hours or tomorrow will be around 2996. And I'm going to put that right there for the breakout, and I'm going to draw that into a red line. And that's how I'm calling it. I'm calling it exactly like that. I'm going to repeat it one more time. Low support of 2738 with a second support channel between 2802 and 2838 with the first support channel between 2886 and 2911. This thing ran real good today. It was on the scanner. It was popping off. We called it in the room. We called it yesterday with our good friend Tony. And Miss Vegas alerted the position to get in. And what was that number again? That was 2511 or something like that?
Yeah, it was 2511.
Yeah. So she got in pretty much down here at the bottom after the pullback. And that was, she could have said, might want to get in later on. But she identified it at the 2511. And it bounced all the way up. And she called $30, believe it or not. And look what we hit, today's high, $30. Great job, Miss Vegas. And
thanks.
the next one that's HUYA. Keep it on watch. I think it's still very bullish, but we want to get in on the pullback. We don't want to, and if it breaks out, it's going to break up to that next resistance of 30.45. And the next one we're going to talk about is IOTS.
Yes, so I definitely want this one. Very nice website. The company's called Adesto Tech, and they are a company that has solutions for the Internet of Things. And what they do is they do semiconductors. They provide, they have products. They have memory products, power line communications, and they provide different kinds of actual software technology and also memory technology. They use also integrated intelligence. So depending on what kind of products someone's looking for, really more from a commercial standpoint, they're also involved in applications within the city, transportation. They also do things for the actual consumer, smart home, and even medical technology. So there's many things that they're involved in, and very interesting company. So for example, when you have your smartwatch or your fitness tracker or your smartphone, or let's say you have a product where you have your fingerprint recognition, um, they're involved in that. So this company, Adesto, is involved in this, what they call intelligent electronics, and it senses your health and fitness, let's say in real time, and your fingerprint. So they're very connected with this kind of industry. So putting that aside, just to give you a little feel of what the company's about, this was brought to me by Miss Southern Grace, and she brought it to my attention where she noticed some volume on the stock. And this was very uncrowded. I mean, the shares in the float's about 28.25 million shares. But what I really liked about this particular stock was, first of all, today had a nice volume surge in comparison to the last 6-7 days. Excuse me. And then the other thing that I liked about it as well is that it had very good support at the 200-day mark. So I really did like this actually for a swing trade. And we did share the idea to take this as a swing trade. And I'm still bullish on the stock. I'm looking for this to go to around 652, maybe 7, maybe a little higher than that. But I would like it for sure to hold the 590s. I also want to mention that the company is presenting at a conference in New York City at the W Hotel. So we might start seeing this, some activity in the stock next week. But in the meantime, this looks really nice for a swing trade. And I really also like the fact that it's uncrowded, where there's not tons and tons of people running to buy this. But the setup is really nice. And I'm just going to turn it over to Jim to talk about this beautiful chart.
Yeah, I'm looking at the yearly chart. So what we hit today was kind of a double top resistance, and we have a huge gap that we need to fill. And so she might be right. It could pull back a little bit here for another retracement rebound. You see this big candlestick gap down here from up here right around 842 all the way down to 640. So that's a $2 dip right there in one day. And I'm going to draw a little resistance line on this candle wick right here for a target, which is right around 681. And I'm going to maybe put one right here. We're going to pull this up to a 20-day now. And I think, let me draw a pullback area. I'm thinking right around that 589, right around there. And we did bounce above that 200 SMA. You notice the 20 days curled up. You notice the 50 days curled up, and the 100 days starting to curl up with that 200 day crossing down. So what I want to see this 20 day jump over that 200, and that's going to give this a little bit more absorbance to go ahead and bounce up to the next resistance. So let's go up to the 20 day and look at the 20 day real fast. Look at that. It's just a charming run all the way down here from 20 days at a bottom of 491 up to we broke out of the double top. The double top was right in this area right here, right around 635. It did pull back a little bit, not much, just a little bit here after the breakout today, after that big candle rise from 625 all the way up to 644. So we pulled back just a little bit to about to where that resistance high is right here, which is right around 635. So I'm going to draw that trend line in there, and I'm going to take out, excuse me, take out this other one. Excuse me. Let me get a drink real fast. Thank you. Appreciate it. So we did pull back, and I think this 635 is a good little area for your first support. I'd like to see it hang out there and go ahead and bounce on up. But if it doesn't, we're going to pull back to this other support area, which is right around 625. 625, maybe 620, but we'd like to see it touch that 20-day SMA. So I'm going to pull up the daily and just get one last glance at it. Yeah, it's telling me that it's very bullish, but we do have a little descending flag right here, which could cause it to pull back a little bit. I do find a support also right here at the 630 area. So let's see what we can do with this stock. I'm going to add it to my watch list. This is a new ticker to me. I do appreciate Southern Grace bringing it to my attention. And great job on this call, Miss Southern Grace. And this is IOTS. So let me repeat what I'm looking at. I think it can pull back to this 630 area for a low support. If not, it'll hit this previous high of 625. So that ain't too big of a spread. But if it beats up against this 200 SMA, it could bounce right off of that. And that's how I play a lot of my tickers. I do see a little descending flag going on here, but it is kind of a pennant, but it is descending. So let's see what this stock does tomorrow. And this is IOTS. And the next one is one that Miss Vegas brought up yesterday, and that is CHMA, yesterday on the aftermarket report.
Right. So we were mentioning yesterday, I mean, I like to give the viewers, a lot of people told me they don't trade all day, stressful and job. So, we tried to certainly share ideas that can help you. So this was a really nice one that we gave you guys yesterday. So hopefully if you guys take notes and you were able to trade the stock on CHMA. This was the one that I said I really liked the fact that I had a new 52-week high, and I was really looking for this to have a continuation today. And you know what? I'm glad that did have the continuation that we were looking for. The stock closed yesterday at 475. It was up actually pre-market, and it actually opened when the market opened at $5, but it moved beautifully all the way to 551 and a very, very nice volume surge. So, I mean, if you did take the swing trade on it, or even if you just day traded it, you know what? Congratulations, because this moved really nice. And I think that there's probably more coming from the stock. But, Jim, what are your thoughts on the chart? Because maybe there's people still holding it. Maybe there's people that traded it and sold it. But is there still maybe an opportunity for this to continue, maybe even tomorrow?
Yes, this is one of her calls on a 52-week breakout. You see where I had that resistance line up there at 489. Well, we did have a gap up on it today. It did gap up to that $5 area, and once it did that, right out of the gate, she run up and hit that 551. So that's a 50-cent bounce on a gap up, and then it pulled back to a support area, which I'm going to draw this in, and it pretty close to my 520, but I'm going to add it to 524. And that's what the channel we got to break out of tomorrow. And I'm going to go ahead and paste me a little drawing on this so I can remember it right there. So that's the little blue channel we got to beat. This can pull back to 5. I'm going to pull up the 20-day now, but look at this run from 120 all the way up to 550. Pull up a 20-day chart on it, look at it. Okay, what I'm seeing now is a low support right here at $5 with a pivot point in this channel right around 520 to 525. We did pull back there right into close at that support level. I'd like to see it hold. Now this is a big gap up from all the way from 444 to 550 in a matter of the last hour of yesterday to today, to the last hour of today, and we did hit that pre-market. So that was a beautiful play. It did pull back to that $5 area, and that's going to be a second support. And then that red line is going to be your third. We don't want it to try to go below that red line. So let me go ahead and pull up the daily 1 minute. And what I'm seeing, the same thing. I'm seeing the same exact picture. I'm seeing a little support right down here at 489 with $5. That 489 is still my red line from yesterday's high. And then that $5, and then that first support channel, the pivot point in that channel is 525, which really bounced off that a couple of times today. And we closed in that channel. And that's the CHMA. We got a resistance we got to break, and that's going to be the 550 area, 549. If we can break this double top and move on up and have a triple top and break out of it, it could go up higher for sure. And I do like this stock, and that's CHMA. Good job, good call, Miss Vegas. And then
Thank you.
yeah, I think you really hitting it on the button here lately. I mean, you
Yeah,
do
that
all the
was really
time.
that
I don't mean
was really
lately.
nice actually. I'm happy about that one.
Yeah.
That was nice. Very nice.
So the
So
next one,
congrats.
yeah. So the next one I want to talk about is ZKIN. Vegas was intense about this stock yesterday about what they do, and they make steel products, stainless steel fittings and stuff. And I just wanted to show you the website, but I'm going to go right into the chart, the play that I made on this. I've held it for a week. It's been a swing trade for me. Let me type it in here. ZKIN. So I got in this thing last week. I'm going to pull up the 5-day, maybe a 10-day. Sure, right around where I got in. And I should have probably bought more of it on the dip, but I got in this thing right here at 150 last week, 151. And then it pulled back during the middle of last week to this 137. I called it out in the room. It was like a double bottom at that 137 area for a good buy. And one of the girls in our room, Erica, went ahead and bought her some of it down there. And then she held on to it for a couple of days. And she asked me, should I go ahead and keep it? Because she was in profit zone with it. And I said, yeah, let's see what we can do with it this week. And so this is what happened today. It went ahead and it ran up all the way to my target area of 175, 177, and we hit it. We stopped there at that 169 for a support level, and then she pulled back the rest of the day. But I went ahead and got out at 165, and I made me about $95 on this trade. And it's just one that I just swung for a week and just held on, and I should have been smart enough to buy on this dip down here, my other 500 shares that I wanted to get, and I could have really made a real good profit on this. So, that's what I should have done. Woulda, shoulda, coulda. But still yet, I walked today with a profit. It did pull back. So this is what I'm going to tell you. If it pulls back any more, try to get down in here at this 137 area. I'm very bullish on this company. It is one of the top 10 China companies and also they had a pretty good profit last quarter, and they are getting a bunch of government contracts, as Miss Vegas mentioned in our last aftermarket report, to kind of put new fittings in the city. So I do believe that this is starting to really shows a bullish pattern, and this thing could really take off. I mean, it's a low float, and it can really bounce up to its previous highs. And I'm going to show you an example of what I'm talking about, and then we can go ahead and move on to the other trade or the other play. We had a huge bounce on this off of earnings here a little while back, and it ran all the way up to $4. So I'm kind of thinking if we break this resistance, come up this 185 area right in here, we could probably move up to that next resistance right around 210, and I think it's just going to be a gradual play that's a good company that's not bouncing like the other ones are, but it is this turn. And we did have a high up here of resistance level of right around 730. So this could be a long swing trade, or it could be a good scalper. And the next one we're going to talk about is mankind.
Mankind. Well, let me tell you, mankind is had a really nice run. And one of the important things to know about this company is they had very good earnings. And that's part of the reason why the stock is running. And it's really more of an earnings mover. And they did make the report on their earnings report on February 26th. And, one of the things that they talked about was, they had their sales were up 28%. They also had, in the last couple quarters, their financial position has enhanced, and they received $45 million from the what they call the UT collaboration. And then don't forget, I think they did have also, Jim, I think an offering at one time too, so a while back. So, the company is still good. Very good job with the earnings. It's an earnings mover. And what I like about the stock here, when I was looking at the weekly report, I like that it had very nice support at the 200-day. And, when I see a stock at the 200-day, that appeals to me. And even though the volume was the highest today, I still very happy with like where this chart can go. So I'm going to turn it over to Jim because I really like this from a swing trade perspective, and not necessarily moving along quickly with a day trade. I think this is just a really nice stress-free trade for a swing. And I'll turn it over to you, Jim, to really talk about what kind of targets we could be looking at here.
Yeah, Lee Rick Schwan has a price target of $3. So I just
Oh,
saw
not
that.
bad.
Yeah, I just saw that there on yesterday's news. So let's talk about the chart. Let's talk about it. We had a double bottom here, right under $1, right around 94 cents. You see what I'm talking about there? Right around 102 is where I'd put the resistance line, and I'm going to draw one in there just to show you the double bottom. Last time we had a double bottom like this, it bounced up a little bit, bounced up about 129, pulled back, and then you had a huge, and that's probably, I don't know, but it had a huge bounce right there all the way up to 304, that guy's price target, right there at 304. So she did kind of bounce up and around for a while, and then had another huge pullback and that sell-off back in the end of last year. And then ever since then, she's retraced. She hit a little resistance here at 145 and pulled back to that support area at 118. And then we had a high up here right around, I'd say, this 193 area. And she's pulled back about 4 days in a row and touched down. So let's look at the 20-day chart, see if that tells us a little different story. It does tell us a story. It tells us we had a resistance here at 192. We had a low support at 126. That's a beautiful run in 20 days. So you do, and these last 2 days right in here from that 145 all the way to 194, almost a 50-cent bounce. Pulled back and hit that previous high at 159. We see that little touchdown right there. Bounced back up to resistance channel. Touchdown and hit that 100 both times where the bases collided and bounced off that 100 SMA. And then now she's hovering above the 50. And this is on a 20-day, 1 hour. So let's look at the daily. This is what Vegas was talking about today. Yesterday it had that support area right around 160. We did touch that 159 area that we had drawn up earlier. And then she just had straight wedge moving on up. Look at that, parallel to each other. So I'm going to draw this little trend line in here right now. Get it out of the way. And I'm going to start it off right down here at the bottom. I'm going to move it up to right about in there. And I'm going to call that the first one. Then I'm going to bring this up here to maybe your second one's going to be, we'll just bring it, well, no, let's bring it right down here. Get rid of that. So let's hold this 180. If it pulls back, it'll pull back to this 175 area, which I see as a very solid support. Break out of that channel. I'm going to change that into a red line. Bam. There's our red line support. That's what we want to hold, the 175. If not, we got another little channel right down in here. Let me find it. Right there. We're going to go ahead and put that trick. Well, I got to change this up here. Got to change that up there. So where did I have that at? Right there. There it is. 169. I hate to see it go any lower than that 169. And I've got another one right here I want to add. So this is how I'm looking at it. I'm looking at it to stay in this channel. If it runs up, it's going to run up to this area right in here, and this channel will keep rising. But our first resistance is going to be right around 186. That's what we got to break. We had the 185. You see how important that is right there? So I'm right on. And if it pulls back, it'll pull back to this 175 with a support channel. For your second and your third is going to be right between 169 and 172. With, I hate to see it go below that red line though. I'd like to see it continue this channel upwards. This is Mankind. I've been watching it for a long time. It has hit a bottom, and remember that gentleman has or that company has a price target of $3 on this stock right now. And then final, and the last one we're going to do is called TXN.
Okay. So this is one for the people with smaller accounts. Or even if you don't have a smaller account, this might interest you as well. So this one here is, I try to focus on some option ideas too for smaller accounts because, Texas Instrument is a very expensive stock. And, obviously you're not going to buy shares of the stock because it's in the $105, $106 range. However, I do want to talk to you guys, first of all, about the company, and then I'm going to tell you why the options intrigue me. So this is Texas Instruments. They're also in the semiconductor technology sector, and they're very similar actually to, I think, the IOTS business. This company does ring lighting. They do high efficiency supply architecture. They do the 5G. They do everything. It's like, anything like Bluetooth, wireless, like that, they're into all these different products. They also provide software, and they provide application and design. So Texas Instruments, they have been around a long, long time. Okay. So aside from that, the reason I was interested in the option trade is actually because I first of all was intrigued by the volume there. If Jim could show you the volume.
Oh yeah.
I was looking at the May calls, but I'll tell you what drew me to the May calls in a second. But if you look at the option calls for May 17 expiry, the option volume there today was over 21,000 contracts. Now, how is it that, what's happening here? We don't know, but that's intriguing. And what intrigued me next, Jim will show you, there's money flowing in, and you guys know I like to follow smart money. And there was an option, block trade sweeper, that went in today for $2 million. And that to me was impressive. And I was like, wow, what's happening? So I looked at the actual option call and realized that, how many shares were how many contracts did this person buy? So they actually bought only 1,800, but 1,800, sorry, not 1,800, I apologize. They bought 18,000 contracts, 18,004 contracts and they paid $1.33 each, and that's how they spent the $2 million. So it was a block trade. So out of the 21,000 plus contracts that were sold today, 18,000 of them belong to this particular block trade trader. Okay, so probably coming from one of those fat cats. So, I figured, let me look at the same option call. So I did as well, and I have it here at $1.45 was the price I paid. Now, this has pulled back to around the 121, 127 range. So, something for you to keep on watch tomorrow or whenever you like. And maybe you also, as a smaller account trader, you may like to buy this particular option call. And really, the main purpose for me was because, first of all, I like the company, Texas Instruments, but I really liked more so the fact of the volume and the $2 million money flow going in there. So that's what appealed to me the most, and hence why I decided to follow the money and follow that trade. So, Jem, over to you to talk to us about, that chart on Texas Instrument, because, we're going to be watching for this stock to make a move over time, and currently it's around the 105 zone. So, what can we see?
You're seeing a pretty good little area where you're kind of at a pivot point, maybe at a resistance area. She is hovering above this 20-day SMA, and it has touched to this 200 SMA, which is right around 104.89. So this is what I'm seeing. We had a year high of 118 with a second resistance right around 116. I'm going to draw these in here so I can get it right now. And this resistance 118 something. You got a resistance right here, right around 114. You got a top right here, right around 110. Then you got this 109 area. So that's good enough for me to channel it up right now. I'm going to pull it up to a 20-day. And I'm looking at it, analyzing it. Looks all my trend lines need to be where they are. So the way I would play this, I'd like to keep it at that 200-day area on a yearly chart. And let me pull up that 1 year again. And that's right in here, and I'll magnify it so you can get a better picture of it. If you could get in on the bounce on this thing right off the 200, which would be right around 105, and I do have a resistance there at 105.08 from my trend lines. If we could get in at that area right there, that'll be a bargain price for you. It can bounce up here to this 109 area. That's going to be your resistance. So this is TXN. Then I'm going to go ahead and pull up, excuse me there. I'm going to look to see if I can find me another resistance level right here, and that's going to be right around the 1711. 711, everybody knows about them. We did have a high up here at 107.69. I'm going to draw that trend line in there, and that's beautiful. See how that touched back right there? How it consolidated right there before it had a big dip down here to this 106 area. So I'm going to draw a trend line right there, and I'm going to draw one right here. So this is the way I want to look at it. When I come in here tomorrow, I want to see it go no lower than this 106.05. If it does, we're going to have to find us another support area. But I think that's the lowest it can go. And I think we can run this back up to 108.09 for sure. And we have a little pivot point area in here between the 106.76 and the 107.11. And that's going to be TXN. Keep a good eye on it. I'm adding it to my watch list for this coming week and for the weeks coming.
All right.
That's it.
That's it for today. I will say that I am watching Facebook. I did call a breakout on the stock today, and I'm very happy after hours. It is at 171.60. So I think we could see Facebook head towards the 172. So for those of you that like Facebook,
good call, Miss Vegas.
This was a good one today.
Yeah.
So keep Facebook on your watch as well. But I want to thank everyone for listening, following, subscribing. Obviously, if you can't come into the chat for the free trial, not to worry. Just listen and subscribe to the channel. Many people don't have time to be in chats. They're busy, and that's fine. That's how we do the YouTubes, because we want to help other people that don't have time to come by. And maybe one day they'll be able to come by because they'll be able to quit their job from trading, from making money from trading, and be able to join us. So Want to thank you all and thank you for your comments. Again, feel free to come by. There's no obligation and anyone's welcome. And we'd love to help you out. So thank you again. Have an amazing night. And I'll see you all tomorrow. Right, Jen?
That's right. And this is our website here. If you want to look it up, it's called ilovestocks.com, ILUVSTOCKS.com. Please subscribe and ring that bell for future updates. This is the Aftermarket Report with Vegas and Jim. Today's date, March 5th, 2019, and we love stocks.